head coach John Tillman, student athletes Matt Rambo, Colin Heacock, and Matt Dunn. As before, we'll have a brief opening statement by the coach, followed by a Q&A for the student athletes, and then questions for the coach. Coach Tillman.
Obviously very proud of our team to get a win in the semifinals and have a chance to play on Memorial Day. Thought they showed a lot of heart and just grit today against a really good team. That game could have gone either way. I think you got to give Brown a whole lot of credit for being down 4 goals and coming back and tying the thing and almost winning it. And I can't say enough about Brown and their program, their team, and what Lars Tiffany and staff have done. I mean, they were outstanding today. And it's a shame that either team had to lose, and I've certainly been on both sides of that. But certainly proud of our guys. It wasn't a work of art. I was very proud of the fact that, late in the game when things weren't going well, the leadership by a lot of our older players, including these 3, was very positive. The late timeouts, very positive. Hey, we're going to find a way. We're going to figure it out like they've done all year. And it's a credit to them. So certainly thankful for 3 more days together. It's a pretty special group, and we're going to do our very best to try to prep up and play an outstanding Carolina team on Monday.
At this point, we'll open it up for questions for student athletes. Start right here. Go ahead.
I had a question for Matt. Can you talk about the excitement of now getting back to the national championship game, especially in Philadelphia for you? Grandpa. My bad.
It's all right. I mean, it's definitely exciting for all of us. We were here last year. We didn't get the job done. It's a dream come true to be in Philly here for me. I grew up down the street. So just being in the Final Four and making the championship game again, it's a dream come true.
Thanks, Matt. Next question on the side.
This is for Rambo and Hika. Can you guys just walk us through that game and go real quick? And also, as an aside, I know you guys are best friends. Does it really get any better than that scoring?
Colin, you want to take that first?
I think both Brian Cole and Connor Kelly, 2 great players. They're kind of working behind together and kind of making some movement. And they just kind of skipped through the rainbow. And being a great player he is, he has great vision. Just kind of sitting there.
Matt, anything to add on?
No, I just, called the skip pass and dragged it looked the middle, and Colin was just wide open and, he finished it for us.
Thanks.
For any of you guys, it seemed like Brown sort of had all the momentum going into the overtime period, and then you obviously possessed the faceoff and went from there. But how much resiliency did it take, or what were you guys kind of talking about there after giving up 4 straight?
Definitely playing a team like Brown that can go on big runs. One thing we focused on this week and kind of focused on all year is kind of not really riding the wave of the game, but being consistent and focusing on the next play. So just every time that we kind of had a chance to get together, we took a deep breath, said, all right, let's make the next play. So in that overtime era, we kind of tried to erase all prior events that happened, all momentum, and said, we're going to get this ground ball, we're going to win this face-off, we're going to make the best play we can make. So just try not to focus too much on what had happened.
For all 3 of you, just the emotions after scoring an overtime goal to advance to the national championship. What were your emotions like? When Colin, you're getting on the dog pile there.
It's obviously exciting. Seeing everybody in the stands. Just for the state of Maryland. Getting back to the championship game. It's a pretty cool experience. But you can enjoy it for a little bit. You just have to look forward and have another game.
It was emotional at first. Seeing our whole team, all the scout guys that worked their tails off, to give us 3 more days together. We've been working for August, seeing everyone, so happy, cheering just for, that 5 minutes when there was a dog pile. But, the emotions are down now, and we have to get back to work.
Yeah, just the feeling. I think it's just the greatest feeling knowing that the journey didn't end for us today, and we have a couple more days together. And being a senior, that's really all I wanted out today.
Thanks, Matt. Next question here.
Yep. Colin, talk about the move mid-season of you to attack, and Matt Rambo as well. How did that change? Was it the time the team was having trouble scoring? What changed when Colin, you moved to attack from midfield, and were you happy about that?
when I moved down to Tech, it helped our team out, I think, a little bit. We had great chemistry on and off the field, me, Rainbow, and Maltz, so we kind of worked nicely together down there. And with Brian Cole and Connor Kelly now and Henry West on Red Group, and then we had Pat Young, Tim Rotance, and Lucas Rager in the goal. I think it just freed us up, allowed us to all play together. We have experience playing with one another, so it helped us a little bit.
Thanks, Colin. Right in the front here.
This is for Matt Dunn. Just talk to me about that goal, that 2/3 goal Heath that you had in the first half. I know back in a few years ago, you asked Matt, we had a goal 80-yarder from midfield, from full field. So I don't know if you maybe heard something about that goal, possibly.
We kind of knew just the way Brown picked up the pace of the game that there is a possibility that they might pull the goalie out and do a 10-man ride. So if nobody was open, we had to be ready to see the open goal and shoot at it. So we practiced it this week, and then the way it unfolded during the game, we were just clearing, and I think it was Nick Manish threw me a pass, and I turned around and kind of just saw the nobody around it, so I just threw it at the goal and it went in. So it's something we just game planned for, and it just happened to work out.
Thanks, Matt. Side.
Matt, kind of a two-parter here. One, Malloy got to play for Brown today, obviously. I mean, what was it like kind of dealing with him? And also for you guys as a defense, I know you said you were trying to keep everything in the past, but after kind of withstanding that initial surge and getting used to it, how well did you think you guys as a defense kind of coped with the pressure they bring to bear?
The first part with Malloy is obviously a great player. So having him back in the lineup for them definitely posed different challenges for us. And so you can see throughout the game, we definitely did got some goals and some good shots because he's a really good player. As far as just kind of coping with momentum, I guess, or is it
Just with the pressure and the style they bring to bear on it.
We worked on it all week because we knew it was going to be a different team. Really, just getting to 6-on-6 scenarios, and they got some transition because that's what they do best. But I think our offense did a great job of not letting them just catch the ball and get it out and get behind us and get those kind of uneven scenarios. So that helped us get to our settled sets. And then once we got settled, just they're still a very tough team to play against, very talented all over the field. So just communication. We just did our best to move around and play with each other. Kind of made some great saves to help us out.
Thanks, Matt. Gonna go in the back here.
This is for any of the players. Now that you know you're going to be playing again on Monday and using your experience from last year, you're in the same stadium, same area. Is there anything you're planning on doing to prepare differently than what you did a year ago?
I wouldn't say necessarily differently. I would just say maybe just everything a little bit more efficiently. Just really emphasizing the rest we can get in the next couple of days, hydrating, eating right. Just kind of knowing the importance of that on these quick turnarounds.
Thanks, Matt. Colin or other Matt Rambo, anything to add? All right. Next, there's one in the back there. If you want to sit tight, we'll get a mic to you in a second.
For the players, you guys all came in as part of big recruiting classes, highly touted recruiting classes. But, that's just that. It doesn't get done without, playing up to your potential and developing as players. Talk about the system that Coach Tillman and the rest of the staff has put in place to help you guys, reach your potential and get better each week and, develop into what you are today.
Colin or Matt, go ahead.
On the offensive end, Coach Tillman and Coach Repper do a great job in the fall and the spring, just to develop, all parts of our game, dodging, shooting, offhands, throughout the year. So every week, we're always, working to get better. And I think a lot of the credit goes to the scout guys, especially during the springtime. They're beating us up, they're giving us the best look they can, and they're so tough to beat. So, they know our weaknesses and they try and get us, as best as we can too.
Colin, go for it.
Same thing. The scout guys all fall, they're working hard in the weight room, and then we get out to the field to practice, they're giving it their all, making us feel uncomfortable, whether it's going to our offhand or just continuous running. And, I think all the credit goes to them, going in and day out, they're giving all their effort to us. So.
Matt Dunn.
And defensively, a lot of like what Matt said with the offense, Coach Tillman and Coach Connery do a great job just developing us as individual players. Started 4 years, I came in with Coach Connery my freshman year. That was his first year, so I kind of had gotten to go through the experience with him and just I give him a lot of credit for helping develop the players. That a lot of the guys on the defensive end have become just very disciplined, focusing on our fundamentals. Just a lot of drilling in the fall, a lot of individual work, making sure the technique's right, so that when we get to the spring, we can focus on game plan, which he does a great job with as well. Getting the scout guys all organized each week so they can do a great job like this on the defensive end. The offensive guys do a great job too. And then just he does a great job helping us prep each week for different teams and knowing their strengths and how we should counter that.
Thanks, Matt. Scott, go ahead.
This is for Matt Rambo. Can you just talk about making it back to the title game here in Philadelphia after experiencing the loss from last year?
Yeah, being back in the championship game it's awesome. It's what we've been working for all year. We have a couple goals as a team, and one of them is trying to get it back to this game, and that's pretty much every team's goal. So just the blood, the sweat, and the tears that we put through since August till now, it's just it pays off. What was the other question?
Being from Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah, it's awesome being from here. I used to come here all the time in the Final Four. Growing up in the stands, just watching them. It's a dream come true. A lot of all my friends came, all my family, just seeing them in the stands, and just so happy, just supporting the Terps. It just is a dream come true.
Take one last question right here.
As for Matt Rambo, this game was billed as sort of a game of contrasting styles. To what extent do you take maybe even umbrage to that, knowing, hey, Maryland can play that brand too, as you showed at times today?
Yeah, whatever the team is going to give us, we're going to play. If we have to slow the ball down, if we have to speed it up, go in transition, our team's capable of playing, so many different styles because we're so depth this year. Our defense can push, we can hold it, we're a solid team.
Thank you, guys. We'll let you head back to the locker room and take some questions for Coach at this point.
John, I think you had 12 different players score or assist on goals today. You've been balanced all season long, but how key is that at a time like this?
Yeah, we kind of knew that's what we needed to be successful this year. We really didn't feel like, and I certainly feel like Colin and Matt are really talented players, but we weren't going to have one guy bring us home. And I think if you're that predictable where everything's running through one guy, you're not going to be successful. This group is pretty selfless, and just hearing Matt and Colin talk, when you kind of ask them about like what we do to develop, they know the scout team, and that's kind of it's just kind of what these guys believe in. It's a total team effort, and everybody contributes, and I think that's the way we play. It really isn't. I think we have some really good players. I don't think we have a Toraton type guy, but it is a true team, and I think if we have a chance to win on Monday, we're going to have to be it's going to have to be scoring from a lot of different guys.
Tills, the last 10 minutes or so of regulation, it seemed like you guys were in reasonably good shape. What do you think kind of changed there, and kind of to follow up on that, the ground ball that Dunn got there in overtime, just how significant was that given how that face-off situation was going?
Yeah, and you know what? I thought we did a really good job in the third quarter with just some great ground balls, and I thought they flipped it in the fourth. They won 7 out of 8 face-offs, so they had 6 extra possessions. I thought a pretty big play was, Matt made a nice little goose, I think, to Adam DeMillo. We came down, we had a 6-on-4, and we were up 4, I think, and Adam threw it all the way over to Matt, and Matt got a pretty good shot. And I, just felt like, all right, we probably could use a little of a break on defense. And Matt took a shot, and it's a pretty good shot for Matt. We didn't get it. They came down, and all of a sudden they started winning face-offs, and I thought they stole the momentum back. And, I almost used a couple timeouts, but I was a little bit worried, that, if we used a timeout there, we might need it later. We tried to mix it to zone, and we didn't do a great job with the zone, and credit to Balestri for coming in just bolting one in. So I'm proud of our guys for bouncing back. I knew they'd make a little bit of a run for sure. We were just hoping that maybe we could hold them off, but when you get 6 extra possessions on face-offs and you're that good a team, they're going to make a run for sure.
Coach, at the end of the game, you had a chance to win it at the end of regulation. What were you trying to draw up there? Because you ended up taking another timeout as well.
Yeah, I didn't call timeout right away because Brian Cole had a short stick behind. I just liked the matchup, and I felt like maybe, keeping them, instead of calling a timeout and getting them organized, I felt like we had a guy that's a pretty good dodger and feeder behind the goal, and I felt like it was a pretty good spot. And then once it got under, I think it was 14 seconds, then we called the timeout. We came out of the timeout, they went zone, and then they called timeout, and then I think we called timeout. So it was like Keystone Cops a little bit. Sooner or later we're going to run out of timeouts, but they kept changing, we kept changing. I actually thought Matt got a pretty good look to Dylan inside. There certainly wasn't a lot of time, but I actually thought it wasn't too bad. But we had to have a zone look and a man look ready, and then we tried to find something that might have been workable with both. It just, it was so little time. You just kind of had to have something that you felt like would give you an opportunity.
Coach, what do you as a coaching staff have to do to get your players to buy into a we've been here before mentality on Monday rather than get caught up in the beast that is Championship Monday?
I think our kids are mature enough to realize, you don't come to Maryland to play in the championship. You come to win the championship. Certainly we're honored to be here, and I don't take ever coming to championship weekend for granted. There's a lot of great coaches and great players that never get here, and that will never be lost on me. But certainly being at a place like Maryland and with the group that we have, I don't think we would be doing what we should be doing by settling for anything more but to try to reach the highest we can reach. Why not? Really, why not us? So I think our guys realized last year how they felt. Maybe that's a good motivation. Certainly you watched how Carolina played today. That is a really, really good team that's playing as hot as anybody, and that's a big part of winning it. It's not necessarily the best team in February, it's the team that plays best at the end of the year, and that team looked pretty darn good today.
Coach, first of all, congratulations. A lot of us in the media and fans will say when a team loses a lot in the big moment that they choke. But can you talk a little bit about how that, if you look at it the other way, how that forges something inside a team that can lead to the kind of season you're having now and being on the precipice of winning a championship?
Well, I think anytime you win, the kids all deserve all the credit, and if you don't win, it falls on the leadership of the team, and that falls on me. So obviously, I didn't do a good enough job last year getting us ready for that Denver game. So now it's time, to look and go, all right, what can we do better this year? Because the kids are playing their guts out, and they're playing hard, and they're going to do what we ask them to do. So I obviously, and the coaches have to put together a good game plan. And sometimes the game plan doesn't always work. Sometimes the other team just plays better. I do think with those guys, getting to that game is pretty challenging, and sometimes the ball bounces funny ways. I mean, that last ground ball, Matt Dunn made an amazing play. We got a great effort, and we got it out. I mean, that was in our own end. That could have bounced the other way. And they have such a great team offensively that, there's a good chance they could have scored. So there's so much more to it. I think anybody that's coached realizes that there's, you can only control so much. And they're 18 to 20-year-old kids or 22-year-old kids. And sometimes there are things that impact them that we just can't control. And you have to be okay with that and realize that regardless of what happens, they're your guys. You love them, you care about them, you support them. And, when they're down, you pick them up. And then, if they're not doing what they should be doing, you help them through. At this point, you're proud of them, but you're trying to make sure that they stay focused on what's in front of them.
Coach, can you just talk about the experiences you learned from last year losing to Tug and going into this year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the most important thing is how do you use the time you have, and to me it's a big race right now. The whistle's going to blow at 1 o'clock, and what have you done in the last 36 hours or so? Sorry, my math's not out. Well, my mom's a teacher; she'd probably kill me for not knowing exactly how many hours. But really, until 1 o'clock hits on Monday, we got to use the time wisely. We need to get rest. We need to get hydrated. We need to eat well. We need to start breaking down film on Carolina. Obviously, haven't played them. We have a sense of who they are. But I think in credit to Coach Bresci, that team is playing really well. I think they found themselves. They're playing as well as they played all year, and that's a credit to them peaking at the right time. So, seeing what they did today against a terrific Loyola team, that's certainly caught our attention, and we're going to have to play really well. We're going to have to rebound. Like, we can't feel good about today and focus on that. We've got to move forward really quickly.
One back there.
Coach Tillman, first off, congrats on being this far this season. Can you talk about your philosophy to player development and how maybe that's evolved over the years, and maybe how this group in particular has helped you develop even further as a coach?
Yeah, we're big on kind of following the Nick Saban approach of the process. We feel like building a good team, there's a process, and it starts when you come back in the fall. When we recruit, we tell kids you have to really buy into being challenged. You're going to get challenged every day, academically and obviously athletically. And we have pretty high standards. We try to scare off kids that all they want to be is kind of the lax bros, and they don't really want to work hard. If they don't go to class, there are certain consequences. And candidly, we certainly are trying to recruit the best guys, but we'll tell them straight up, this is how we do it. And if that scares you, you don't want to be here, it's probably not the best place to be. And so what we're hoping is we find a group that, and again, mentioning what they mentioned about the scout teams, guys that they don't mind being pushed, they don't mind being challenged. They certainly find a way to have fun and meet girls, like that certainly works out. And they certainly figure out a way to eat Chipotle, like that's like number one on their priority list. But the kids have fun. I think one thing that is important too, like we push our kids pretty hard, but to get them to peak in May, it's hard to find that sweet spot, but you can't grind them into the ground in the fall. You want them coming back every day for more, yet you're trying to make them mentally and physically tough. You're trying to make them better. But if you wear them out in the fall or in February, there won't be much left. So I think what helps us is we have a good group of leaders that they like to compete, they like to be challenged, but we're comfortable with them going, Coach, we might need a day off here, or you know what, shorter would be better today. Our athletic trainer, Amelia Sussman, is really good at that, just kind of telling us, hey, maybe we need to back off. It is a marathon, it's not a sprint. I know it sounds like a cliche. Matt mentioned it's a journey. The journey should be special. Some people talk about a mission, and to me, a mission is like either win the championship or you don't. I think when you're working with student athletes, it's about the journey. There's so many unbelievable experiences that these kids have along the way that you want them to remember forever. And some of them are like failure. Some of them are dealing with disappointment, but being mentally tough enough to bounce back and succeed. Because my feeling is we get 4 years with them, and we need to try to give them the tools to be successful when we can't be there. And they're going to have a lot of ups and downs while they're here. They need to support each other. They need to be mentally tough enough to bounce back. And then in the real world, they have a tough boss. They don't have a good day. You got to get up in the next morning, come out with a positive attitude, and go out and get it. I know it sounds a little deep, but it's a big part of what we sell. It's what we recruit to. For the kids that come through, I think they have a great experience, but it's certainly, you got to be a guy that's willing to work hard, or you're not going to be very happy.
We're going to have one last question for Coach.
Coach, that sweet spot that you just mentioned, do you feel like your team is hitting that right now?
I don't know. It was a pretty long game. So you hope that, that maybe the experience from last year, you hope maybe the experience from the Big Ten tournament, having that Thursday night game and then having to turn around and play again on Saturday, we can reflect back on that and maybe do some of the things that we did. I know that it was probably tough for all four teams today. It's just such a strange year with the weather. It seemed like it was cold and rainy for the last month, and then all of a sudden on Monday, Tuesday, we came out to practice, and the kids were like, oh boy. And it's like the switch got flicked up. So we're just going to have to try to recover as best as we can. And then hopefully, Monday at 1 o'clock, we can do our very best to try to bring home a title to the school and the state and our fans and our alums. It's certainly something that is important to us. And I think to our kids, it's not just about us, it's about something bigger than us. And it's something that I think is incredibly motivating and we're very prideful of.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.